The orbital station hummed with the usual commerce of 1,000 species, but Kira walked through the crowds unseen. Her gray skin had faded to an ashen tone. Her once proud crest now hung limp against her skull. The marks of her dishonor were visible to any who knew her kind. The broken clan sigil tattooed across her forearm, the tattered remnants of what had been ceremonial robes. She had been a negotiator once, a voice of reason among the Velen people. That was before the trade agreement, before her single mistake had cost her government billions in lost revenue. The council had stripped her of rank, of family, of name. Now she existed in the margins, surviving on scraps and charity that came less and less frequently. The human sector of the station was her last hope. She had heard rumors that humans sometimes took in strays, that their peculiar sense of compassion extended even to the unworthy. Most species would have laughed at such talk, but Kira had nothing left to lose. She found the human quarter bustling with activity. Merchants hawked strange foods, music poured from open doorways, and everywhere there was noise and light and life. Kira shuffled along the corridor, her head down, expecting at any moment to be chased away. Instead, she heard a voice. "You look like you could use a meal." Kira looked up to see a human male standing in the doorway of a small restaurant. He was unremarkable by human standards. Brown hair going gray at the temples, lines around his eyes that spoke of laughter and worry in equal measure. He wore the simple coveralls of a station worker. "I have no credits," Kira said, her voice hoarse from disuse. "Did I ask for credits?" The human smiled. "Come on. Nobody should be that hungry." His name was Tom, and he ran the small eatery with his daughter. The food was simple but abundant, and Kira ate slowly, trying not to appear desperate even as her body screamed for sustenance. Tom sat across from her, not speaking, just present. When she finished, Kira expected him to ask questions, to demand something in return. Instead, he simply said, "There's a storage room in back. It's not much, but it's warm and dry. You can stay there if you need to." Kira stared at him. "Why would you do this?" Tom shrugged. "Because you need help. Isn't that enough?" It made no sense. Among her people, among most species she knew, charity came with obligations, with strings attached. Nothing was given freely, especially not to the disgraced. But Tom seemed to mean exactly what he said. That night, Kira slept on a pile of supply crates in the storage room, and for the first time in months, she felt safe. Days became weeks. Tom never asked about her past, never demanded payment or service. He simply let her exist. His daughter, Emily, brought her books and showed her how to use the human information networks. Slowly, carefully, Kira began to remember what it felt like to be a person rather than a thing to be pitied or scorned. She started helping in the restaurant, at first just cleaning tables and washing dishes. Tom paid her a small wage, enough for basic necessities. Other humans in the quarter began to nod to her in greeting, and some even stopped to talk. They asked about her homeworld, her species, her thoughts on station politics. They treated her as if her opinions mattered. The transformation was not immediate. There were nights when Kira woke gasping, remembering her fall from grace, the faces of her clan as they turned away from her. There were days when the weight of her shame felt too heavy to bear. But Tom was patient, and Emily was kind, and gradually the wounds began to heal. One evening, a group of Velen merchants entered the restaurant. Kira froze, recognizing the clan markings. These were from a rival house, one that had benefited from her downfall. They looked at her with contempt, their crests raised in superiority. "A dishonored one serving humans," one of them sneered. How appropriate. Serving a species barely above animals. Kira felt the old shame rise in her throat, but before she could retreat, Tom stepped forward. "In my restaurant, you'll keep a civil tongue," he said quietly. "The lady works here, same as anyone else. If you can't respect that, you can leave." The Velen merchants laughed. "You defend this failure? Do you even know what she did? She cost her people billions, violated sacred protocols. She is less than nothing." Tom crossed his arms. "I know she works hard, treats people with kindness, and has never been anything but honest with me. That's all I need to know. Now, are you ordering food, or are you leaving?" The standoff lasted only moments, but to Kira, it felt like an eternity. Finally, the merchants turned and left, muttering insults. Tom returned to the counter as if nothing had happened. Kira approached him slowly. "You shouldn't have done that. They could make trouble for you. Let them try." Tom smiled. "Besides, what kind of person would I be if I let them talk to you that way?" But they were right. I am disgraced. I did fail my people. Tom looked at her directly. "Maybe you made a mistake. People do. But that doesn't define who you are now. I've watched you these past months. You're careful, thorough, and you treat everyone with respect. That's what I see." Kira felt something break inside her, a wall she had built to contain her grief and shame. Tears began to fall, and Tom quietly handed her a cloth napkin. "Take your time," he said gently. That night, Kira told him everything. The trade negotiation that had gone wrong, the cultural misunderstanding she had failed to anticipate, the chain of events that had led to economic disaster. She explained the villain system of honor, how one mistake could destroy not just an individual, but their entire lineage. Tom listened without judgment. When she finished, he said simply, "That sounds like a heavy burden to carry alone." "My people believe that failure must be punished," Kira said. "That honor is everything. And what do you believe?" The question caught her off guard. For so long, she had simply accepted her fate, internalized the judgment of her society. But now, surrounded by humans who seemed to operate on entirely different principles, she wondered if there might be another way. "I believe," she said slowly, "that I am tired of being defined by the worst moment of my life." Tom nodded. "That seems reasonable." Over the following months, Kira began to build a new life. She studied human philosophy and law, fascinated by concepts like rehabilitation and second chances. She learned that humans believed people could change, could grow beyond their mistakes. It was a revolutionary idea. She also observed how humans treated each other. They argued and disagreed, certainly, but there was an underlying current of mutual support that transcended clan or family. When one human struggled, others helped not because of obligation, but because they chose to. It was inefficient by Velan standards, chaotic even, but there was a beauty to it. Emily encouraged her to take courses in interspecies communication through the station's education network. Kira discovered she had a talent for it, an ability to bridge cultural gaps that her own tragic experience had uniquely prepared her for. She began offering free consulting to smaller businesses in the station, helping them avoid the kinds of misunderstandings that had destroyed her career. Word spread. A Trell merchant praised her insight on a complex negotiation. A Dora ship captain thanked her for preventing a serious diplomatic incident. Slowly, carefully, Kira built a reputation based not on her past, but on her present actions. One day, a formal message arrived on the station network. The Velen Council wished to speak with her regarding a sensitive matter. Kira's first instinct was fear, but Tom encouraged her to at least hear what they had to say. The council representative appeared via hologram, his crest raised in the formal posture of official business. "Kira of the Fallen House, the council acknowledges your work on this station. We have received reports of your expertise in cultural mediation." Kira said nothing, waiting. "There is a situation developing in the outer colonies. A trade dispute that threatens to escalate into conflict. The parties involved are human and Villain, We require someone who understands both cultures. The representative paused. We are prepared to offer you a contract as an independent consultant. This would not restore your honor, but it would be paid work. Kira looked at Tom, who gave her an encouraging nod. I will consider it, she said, but I have conditions. I will not work to anyone's dishonor, Velen or human. My goal will be fair resolution, not advantage for one side. The representative's crest flicked in surprise. That is acceptable. After the transmission ended, Kira sat in silence. Emily brought her tea, a human custom she had grown to love. You don't have to take it, Tom said. You've built something good here. I know, Kira replied. But perhaps this is why I survived. Not to reclaim what I lost, but to find something new. She took the contract. The mediation was difficult, requiring all her skill and patience, but she succeeded in finding a compromise that satisfied both parties. More offers came. Kira found herself traveling between stations and colonies, a bridge between species, valued not for her clan connections, but for her abilities. She never forgot the storage room behind a small human restaurant, or the man who had offered kindness without condition. Tom and Emily remained her anchor, the place she returned to between assignments, the people who had taught her that worth was not bestowed by society, but discovered within oneself. Years later, when other species asked her about humans, Kira would smile and say simply, they see potential where others see only failure. They believe in change when others